Good evening and welcome to Fl33tway's Roundup with your host, of course, me. But I'm excited to be on here tonight. Of course, as I said in Friday, we have now officially changed the date. We are now doing Tuesdays from now on for the time being, and I'm excited. I'm as energized as always, and I can't wait to be bringing this news to you guys. And we're going to go and get things started off with, first, we're going to start off with the football side of things. And one of our biggest stuff that we heard was a certain receiver on the Seattle Seahawks. Well, he got his payday after being one of their biggest stars during the Super Bowl when they won, and that was Jackson Smith-Njigba, as he agreed to a extension with the Seahawks for 4 years with a maximum of $168.6 million for a contract. And man, as it even says from Adam Schefter, who is a very well-known reporter in the NFL, he has broken this down that this will now make JSN officially the highest paid receiver in the NFL right now. And boy, oh boy, this is a high contract, but I can't say that this isn't deserved. This man here, he has seriously set a record for deserving this money. And it's crazy because not too long ago, we had an extension go down here with the Indianapolis Colts, where they extended one of their top receivers, Alec Pierce, for a 4-year contract of a total of $116 million, and that was making him the highest paid receiver in the league. But the Seahawks and JSN, they said, nope, let's show you that we could go up higher. And they've completely blown that contract out the water, making JSN the highest paid receiver in the league right now. But there's big implications to this, because you don't just have a contract like as big as this is, and there isn't going to be ripple effects. And there are, because now when teams want to make extensions for their receivers, or even want to sign a receiver, and if, say, that receiver and their agent feels that this receiver is on par with, say, someone like Alec Pierce or JSN, they're going to come in there and be like, hey, you want us or you want to keep us? We feel we deserve a similar contract to what those two guys made. So let's get this happening. And I think especially where this has the biggest ripple effect is with the Dallas Cowboys, because if you remember a couple weeks ago, I discussed about how the Cowboys, they had placed the franchise tag on George Pickens because they didn't want him to go into free agency. They didn't want another team to pick him up, but they also didn't want to pay him that big contract to keep him for a long time. So they went with the franchise tag, and now he's there for 1 year, but it's for the minimum. And now, with a contract as big as JSN's, this is going to make it a lot harder for the Cowboys for them to bring a guy like George Pickens back, because now him and his agent, they're going to see that contract and they're going to look at Jerry Jones and the Cowboys and be like, hey, you saw what I produced for your offense last year, being one of your best receivers, even especially when CeeDee Lamb was out with an injury. If you want me to stay here and not cause a big fuss, you need to be paying me something similar to what Alec Pierce and JSN just got paid, because George Pickens, and I think he has a fair argument to say that he played on a similar level to both of those receivers. So contracts like this don't just mean a big payday for a player in the league. It also means it could change the market for other players in that same position. It's like when the Raiders signed that massive deal with Tyler Linderbaum and making him the highest paid center in the league. That's, if there's any centers that are out there and they're going to get a new deal or extension or anything, they're going to look at that and be like, I'm playing on a similar level as him, or even better, I deserve a contract like that. So there's always going to be big implications. So congratulations to Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he did deserve this contract extension. I'm very happy for him. He's a good receiver. I definitely would say he's up there, and he's getting up there as far as top 10 receivers in the league right now. And he deserved the contract, but that definitely now is going to put a time frame on the Cowboys and Jerry Jones if they want to make a decision to bring George Pickens back for another season, or if they're going to have to just deal with one season with him and then let him walk and another team picks him up. Either way, George Pickens is definitely either this year or next year. He's coming in for a payday, 100%. But since we're gonna stay into football here, something that happened over this weekend was flag football. There was a little flag football thing going on with Fanatics whereas we had some pros as well as streamers, etc., playing in in these professional flag football games. The most important ones was we had Team USA playing up against some of the pros, as I'm going to be showing some highlights from it. And it was pretty big because it's been making waves through the internet, because I'm just going to say this, in this flag football, Team USA, they wiped the floor with the veterans. You had a team that consisted, if I'm correct, of Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr., Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Devontae Smith. So there was a very huge team of players and of veterans that have been in the league for a while, and they got cooked by Team USA 100%. But still, it was a fun time especially watching a lot of the veterans get out there and play and still seeing they got it. One of the first highlights we're going to go over is Tom Brady's. I mean, he was throwing that ball, and the dude doesn't look like he missed a step. He still looks like Tom Brady. He's slinging that ball. His throws are accurate. He's finding ways to dodge these guys coming after him. And I'm going to let the highlights speak for themselves, because like I said, he was balling out.
Quarterbacks here in the first two games have much success doing, and then he throws an absolute seed between anybody.
Here's Brady. Pressure from Logan Paul. Now Hurts back to Brady, who makes a catch. And Tom is going to be taken down around midfield. Here's Brady. In trouble. Steps away. Brady fires. It is caught! Oh, what a play! Brady eluded the rush and fired a dart to Diggs for the touchdown.
Not only does he elude the rush, which we haven't seen many quarterbacks here in the first two games have much success doing, and then he throws an absolute seed.
It works. Brady again. Pressure. Lets it rip in the corner. Is he in? It's Grubb. He sure is. They're back. What a drive, and the finisher to Gronk, and it's 8-0 Founders. I'm sure they're getting tired. There's a little different format. Here's Brady. Lets one fly, and it's caught to Ashton Genty.
Reactions, and they have all day.
Brady over the middle. Good catch. Devontae Smith now working his way.
Oh, yeah, they got a little.
There's TB looking around.
See, this is what they need to do more of.
Yeah, that's a good-looking play, and Hurts gets in to score.
As you saw, I mean, Brady doesn't look like he could definitely fool you. Like, I mean, he played good. He looked really good. And now I know it's not like regular football. He doesn't have the typical defenders coming after him or anything along those lines. But man, he looked good. He looked really good. I've even seen some people be like, man, he might try to come out of retirement and try to play in the league one more time. I've even been hearing some people say that, who knows, he might try to come back out of retirement and coach Fernando Mendoza to learn a thing or two from him before he fully starts for the Raiders. And so, I mean, anything's possible, but still, it's fun just to watch that. You saw Brady was cooking. They did cut out a clip there. You saw one of the defenders that was trying to come after Brady. That was Logan Paul. We know a little too well about Logan and his brother Jake Paul and their shenanigans and stuff, but there was beef going on between Brady and Paul. Even Gronkowski was getting in on it. I mean, I might even try to see if I could pull up some of their little interactions and stuff, because it's been kind of brewing for a minute, where Brady and Paul, they've had like somewhat of interview podcasts with each other, and they definitely don't get off on the right foot. And you even see here, this is the full video. So you see he passes it to Jalen Hurts. Hurts throws it back to Brady. Brady catches it. And then you notice here, he tosses the ball at Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul starts running up on Brady. He starts running up on Brady, fussing at him and stuff. Brady's having a good time. He's making fun of Paul. He sees him as a joke. You see Paul getting all mad and heated and stuff. Yeah, it's funny, but Brady ain't scared of none of these guys. He's been having to deal with defenders chasing him down, tackling him. This is child's play. So I like seeing that from Brady, seeing that he still got that Tom Brady energy to him, even when it comes to people trying to step up. So that's fun. But one of the other things from this flag football that I had to bring up was one of the other players that was going up against them. You might have heard of his name. He's a famous streamer, goes by the name of iShowSpeed. He was also participating in this flag football classic event. And I got to admit, now I don't see him going into the league or anything like that, but when you watch these highlights from him, these highlights, he'd be looking really good. That's him, number 7 there in the green jersey. And look at this. You're going to see one of his highlights here when he's keeping up with these receivers here, and he's breaking up these passes and stuff. I mean, look at that. That's Devontae Smith. That is a pro from the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's keeping up with him. Then we get this one. He gets this from Joe Burrow. Look at that. Gets a nice spin move. Hasn't gotten the flag off. He's still going. And I mean, it's impressive just seeing how he does. He's good at covering. I mean, there's a few times he gets a little cooked, but he's keeping coverage. He's making it hard. He's breaking up the passes. I mean, you can make a fair argument that Speed should maybe do some training and possibly try to get into the league, because if he gets in there, he's a scary fast dude. He's really fast. I've seen a few clips from his streams and stuff, and he's fast. He's got that speed. He's not the tallest of players, but he's got that athleticism, and that's what you sometimes want to see from a guy getting into this kind of stuff. And even this is a better angle of that one play we saw when he got the ball that's Joe Burrow there from the Cincinnati Bengals. And as we're going to see, he's going to hand it off to Speed, kind of like as if he was a running back. And just look at this. I mean, he gets the ball. He's going. Goes and does a sidestep, spins. No one gets that flag. He's still going. I got to tell you, that team is the Founders team. So that is pros that are chasing after him, and he's outrunning them. And so, like I said, his speed is impressive. And the fact he's able to be doing what he's doing up against NFL pros, pretty good, Speed. You should consider maybe joining the league. I bet there'd be plenty of teams eyeing the chance to have you part of their team for a season. But yeah, I mean, the flag football, like I said, I watched a few clips. I didn't get a chance to really watch it, sadly, but it looks like it was a fun time. Everybody was enjoying themselves, unless you were Logan Paul, who was getting absolutely clowned on. But it was a fun time. That's what you want to see from flag football. And it's cool just seeing these guys go head to head and seeing what they could put on display for everybody. But that's all we got to talk about football-wise. It wasn't too much. But now we're going to go and move on to our next topic here, as there's been today we've been having a lot of layoffs going on. And one of the big ones is Epic Games. Now, some people here might not know who Epic Games is. Epic Games, that is the company behind Fortnite. I know tons of people have heard that game mentioned around. Fortnite, the battle royale sensation that broke the internet, broke the world when it released back in 2018. They officially announced they have laid off over 100 employees. Yeah, when I heard that, that shocked me, because Epic Games, they got money. Epic Games ain't broke. They've been having all these collaborations. They've collaborated with Marvel, with Disney, with Warner Brothers, DC. They just did a collab where the Looney Tunes is in Fortnite. So they making money, and yet now they're in a position where they had to just lay off over 1,000 employees. And they've even, from what I've heard too, is that they've gotten rid of some of the game modes that were in that game. I haven't played the game in years. It started to lose me after a while, and I think I jumped off of the bandwagon train of Fortnite at a good time, because now they're reporting stuff like they had to change the V-Buck prices, which that really doesn't sit well with me. They're expecting people to pay the same price for V-Bucks, but they're giving those players less V-Bucks to get, which is the in-game currency to use to buy all those skins, etc. I didn't like that. And they're starting to really hammer home that apparently they got to pay these bills, and yet they can't. So much so that they have to lay off a humongous amount of people. They have to cut these ties. It's looking bad, and there's even reports suggesting, well, I'm going to read this article here. You might have already started reading without me, but I'm going to read it off. Today, this is an official statement. This is coming from the new head of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney. A lot of Fortnite players, they don't like him. They feel that he has changed the game in the worst way possible compared to the last guy who was on the team. I forget his name. There was two guys. You had Tim Sweeney, and there was another that both were the heads of Epic Games. The other guy left. He's even made a statement like years ago where he said he was leaving because he felt like Fortnite was starting to lose. They were starting to lose sight of what made them them. He felt they were starting to lose that passion. They were starting to focus more on the monetary gain, and that's what made him leave. And now Tim Sweeney is in. People don't like him. They feel like he doesn't really care about the game. He doesn't care about the players. He only wants to make money. And a lot of his decisions, I feel, does sadly show that. This statement was from him, and he stated, "Today we're laying off over 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings into contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place." First off, I mean, we're all for supporting people having jobs, and we're not. I mean, right now we're in a weird place in the world where getting jobs is hard, and even taxes and all these expenses that coming out. It's hard for people. Now, I have heard that everybody that was laid off, they were given severance packages, and apparently Fortnite and Epic Games, they pay really well. That's what I've heard. So going based off of that, it does sound like these people will get the funding to be able to be on their, will be able to be at least, they'll be at least sitting in a solid place where they don't have to worry too much, but they'll be able to get back up on their feet with the severance package. So I've been hearing at least about that, which is good, but still, it sucks to hear that they've let go of so many people. And I mean, anybody with a proper knowledge of business, that's never a good thing you want to hear, that they're spending more than they're making, which means, what are you guys spending? Are you guys managing your money well? And it sounds like they're not, because even as they're saying, they have to cut costs in contracting, marketing. They got to market the game out with all their trailers and their ads on TV, and probably even the times when they have people making appearances and stuff. I mean, Fortnite has famous voice actors and even actors like Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel. They got The Rock playing a character in this game who voices. So you kind of can see, when you start to list that stuff out, you could kind of make a list and be like, that's where your money's going, and that's where the problems are. You're paying money on probably the wrong things, where you're focusing too much on the monetary and the recognition and not focusing on making the game better overall. And we're seeing it starting to bite them. It's starting to bite them in the butt, where now they're having to make tough decisions that's making them look like it's making them look like a not so good company now. And I wish the best of luck for all those employees that got let go. That's like I said, it's never a good thing to hear that. And I hope that they're able to find a new job with maybe another game studio. I mean, they've built a lot of experience at least, so hopefully they'll be able to take that with them and be able to expand their horizons with others. And hopefully they can get this figured out, because like I said, that's just something you never want to hear, that, especially letting off that many people. So wishing them all the best of luck, and you'll definitely have to share your opinions on what do you think about this? Do you agree with my takes that this is not a good sign, that they're clearly spending their money on the wrong things, that they need to start taking it down a lot? They need to start taking it down and focusing. That's what they need to do. So we'll see what happens with them. Some people are thinking this could be the death of Fortnite. I don't know. They might figure it out sooner rather than later, but anything's possible. Anything's possible. But speaking of layoffs, there was another layoff that was announced not too long after that, and that was Sony Pictures is officially shutting down Pixelmondo. And Pixelmondo, they were the visual effects company that worked behind movies like The Amazing Spider-Man 2012. I remember going to the theaters to see that movie. That's honestly one of my top favorite Spider-Man movies out there. I really loved it. They worked on that. They worked on Mary Poppins Returns. They worked on the Marvel TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they worked on the recent Alien Earth TV series, which I saw that. And I was impressed with how good the visual effects was in that show. If you looked at it and was told that this was a show that was episodes, I think, weekly on FX, you would be surprised. And so to hear that they're shutting down this studio, that's sad. It's sad to hear that not one but two major companies are having these layoffs on these visual effects and other employees, and they're losing their jobs. And it's just like, man, hopefully all you could do is just pray and hope that they'll find something, that they'll be able to get back into the groove of things, and maybe another company out there will seek their talents and bring them in to help them out. Because especially when you see the resume that these studios and these employees have, it's like, man, you would have never have thought that they would be out of business. But here we are, and inflation, that all that kind of stuff is being a result of that. And so, yeah, it just sucks to be seeing these layoffs going down. And similar to what I said with the Epic employees, hopefully anybody that was working for Pixelmondo, they'll be able to find new talent. They'll be able to get new job hirings, and they'll be able to thrive, because they've worked on some great stuff. So hopefully they'll be able to continue working on great stuff. We'll just have to wait and see. But speaking of visual effects, yeah, you're seeing that right. You might remember I briefly mentioned about live action Moana, I think on my last episode, actually, where we were talking about live action Lilo and Stitch 2 being announced. Well, we got our first trailer. We got our first trailer for the live action Moana, and I'm not going to play the trailer. I haven't even watched it. I've only seen clips and pictures of this trailer, and oh boy, man, oh man, oh man. I mean, it looks bad. I mean, it looks bad. Anybody here who has seen Moana, you know the story of it. You know about Moana and her journey to find Maui, to save her island, and get the heart of Te-Fiti back, so then everything can go back to normal. I know that's a very brief summary of the movie, but yeah, I've briefly talked about the live action remakes and how I feel that they've gotten worse over the years after my favorite one being The Jungle Book. And the visual effects on this, just look at Oh my goodness. Look at him. Look at him. I mean, come on. He voiced Maui in the animated movie, and of course they got him back, which of course you would think, oh, that's good. They got him back, so everything should be good, right? You got the voice actor to play his live action counterpart. Sure, I mean, I guess, but look at him. I think my biggest problem when you look at the live action, I actually can't even look at him seriously. I can't even. You're telling me you couldn't do a better job at making the wig actually look like his hair? He looks like he belongs in a Lifetime movie. I'm sorry, he does. That wig looks horrible. He looks like he is wearing a wig, and that's never something you want to say about a movie. An actor should never look like they're wearing a wig. And I guess some people might say as well, The Rock is bald. What else did you expect him to do? I don't know. I mean, let me see here. You could have maybe made it look a little more seamless, like when he was in The Smashing Machine. Look at that. I mean, I'm going to move my camera here out of the way, but look at this. That's The Rock in the movie The Smashing Machine from A24, and A24 is supposed to be seen as a lesser studio than Disney, and yet, I mean, I know that some people might even try to make another excuse of, well, he has short hair, but I mean the prosthetics. You can, when you say that it's The Rock, you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, that's The Rock, but the prosthetics and stuff. He does look like the guy he's supposed to be portraying in this movie, and the hair, I think, looks pretty good. Here's a comparison, as you can see, of the guy he's portraying in that movie and then him, and he looks good. He looks like the guy. The hair looks right. The face looks right, and this is coming from a studio that's supposed to be way less than Disney, and yet I think that they did a better job with the prosthetics and the hair and makeup for The Rock to make him seamlessly look like the guy he's playing, and then you look at this, and this is from Disney, a billion-dollar company, Disney, and they can't even make the wig look right on him. He looks off. He looks like The Rock wearing a wig. And that's something you shouldn't really be saying, is he shouldn't be looking like he's just wearing a wig. Even when you look at this, I'm sorry, this just looks like a straight up green screen. They look like they're in one of those rooms with the green screen behind them, and it just looks off. If this doesn't finally tell Disney they need to stop with these live action remakes, I don't know what will, because it looks off. He looks off. Even if I could try to play some of these clips here. I'm not trying to have the audio and stuff, but it just doesn't. I just don't get it. You have these animated movies that look so beautiful and stuff, and then you try to do these live action remakes, and they just don't look as good as the animated movies, and it's just like it's obvious cash grabs. Like, look at this. They're in green screen. Come on now. Put some more effort. Like, I want to try to see if I can pause this. Look at this. I know that not everybody is going to know how to look at certain things with visual effects. But when you see it and you compare other movies and their visual effects, I just want to remind you, this is the same Disney that's now doing these Avatar movies, and these Avatar movies look good. And yet you look at this, and this just looks cheap. It looks like a cheap cash grab, which it is. And it's like, come on now. Like, come on. Let's do better. If you're going to do a live action remake, at least put some effort into it. And this is no effort whatsoever. They look obviously like they're in green screens. There's moments, it looks okay, but other than that, it's like, what are you bringing to the table? When you're doing these live action remakes, you need to have something that's going to bring the audience in to make them go and actually spend their money and see this movie. And as far as I'm seeing, all you have is, hey, we're taking that animated movie that you went to go see back 10 years ago, which is crazy to say out loud, but that movie you went to the theaters to see 10 years ago and you loved watching with your family, well, guess what? We're doing a live-action remake. We know all the other live-action remakes kind of sucked, but this one, oh, yeah, we're going to have it now. And this. I'm going to pull up the scene that this is being recreated in live action. Sharkhead Maui. This is from the, and I get it. It's an animated movie, but funny enough, look at that. They got the comparison. They got the comparison on Google. So you know it's bad that even Google has people making sure to make the post comparing the difference. They not only changed it from a great white shark to a hammerhead, but the CGI just looks bad. I mean, I don't know how many times I can bash into how bad some of these live action remakes from Disney be looking, and it's just like, just stop. Let's calm it down with these remakes. Let's bring it back. Let's focus on doing what we do best, Disney. And what you do best is making animated movies. So let's focus on that instead of doing all these live action remakes of animated movies, trying to cash in. I really hope it doesn't do good in the box office. I want this to be another Snow White situation where it doesn't do good in the box office, makes Disney have to sit back, reevaluate their decisions, and be like, okay, let's not do these remakes anymore. It's clearly not working. Nobody wants to see these anymore. Because I know I'm not going to waste my money seeing this. It's just a waste of time. Just watch the 2016 movie. Seriously, just watch the 2016 movie. Don't waste your money seeing this, guys. I'm serious. But I focused probably a little too much on this, and we're going to go and move on to another remake, one that I talked about 2 weeks ago, and that was the live-action One Piece remake that's been on Netflix, one that I praised pretty highly. I talked a lot about this one, mentioned how much I really enjoyed it, and it was a really good time, and I recommend anybody that maybe is interested in watching it to watch the remake, because I think it does a good job at condensing all the episodes together into one series while staying pretty faithful to what is portrayed in the manga and the anime. And well, there was reports coming out that Netflix is aiming for up to 12 seasons of One Piece live action. The producers are saying it would take about 6 seasons to reach the midpoint of the story and around 12 to adapt it completely, potentially spanning 15 to 20 years. I'm mixed on it. On one hand, as cool as that would be to go 12 seasons and see this series go on, because I'm in full support of it, but at the same time, 15 to 20 years, that is a long time to do pre-production, to do production, to do the acting, to do the visual effects. That's a lot of time and a lot of money. And I mean, Netflix, they're a big company now, but I don't know if they got the money to keep up, you know? I just don't know if they got the money to really keep up with what they're trying to do here. And I think they should stop at 6 seasons, honestly. And I'm even also considering, I think the reason that the live action One Piece is succeeding as well as it is because they have the original manga creator, Eiichiro Oda, working with them. He is managing how they handle this franchise. And I'm not trying to be that guy speaking, and I don't want to speak it into the atmosphere. I really don't. But in 15 to 20 years, how do we know that Oda is going to still be around to keep an eye on making sure that they do right by his series? I don't know about that. So I think it would just be better, go up to 6 seasons. The midpoint, that's supposed to be Marineford. You're hearing from an anime fan. I know what I'm you're hearing from an anime fan. I know what I'm talking about. The 6th season midpoint, that would be the Marineford arc, which is a good stopping point, I think, where a lot of things take place, a lot of things go down. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that does decide to start watching the live action, but I think that would be a solid midway stop point of if they decided we can't keep going up to 12 seasons and continuing funding this, I think that would be a perfect stopping point. I think people will get their fill, and I think they'll reach a solid point where they'll be like, okay, now we can start watching the anime, and we're invested. We can do the rest of the homework. You know what I'm saying? So that's my personal opinion. I think they should stop at 6 seasons. If it goes to 12 seasons, good on them. Good on the actors. I mean, I've seen some people even support the idea of watching these actors grow old and actually age up with the characters. But it is going to be it's going to be weird seeing some of these guys, seeing them get older. Getting older as the years go by, and I don't know if they'll still be able to perform some of the choreography and everything to perform at their age. But hey, anything's possible. If they're able to make it to 12 seasons, good on Netflix, good on them. I think they should stop at 6 seasons. That's what I would say. But that's personal opinion. You'll have to share in the comments and chat. What do you think? Do you think that they should stop at 6 seasons, or, as the young people say, let it ride? But we're going to keep it pushing here. And one of the next things we're going to talk about is a little bit of some Marvel news. One of the things was one of the actors from one of the hit Marvel movies, a personal favorite of mine, Thunderbolts, that had came out in 2025. One of the stars, Wyatt Russell, you guys know him well as being the son of Kurt Russell, and he played, oh geez, what was his character's name in that movie? I'm actually drawing a blank. It was U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent. He played U.S. Agent in the movie. He had an interview where he revealed that apparently they originally were going to kill off all the Thunderbolts. That's crazy to me. Watching that movie and all the characters and stuff, it's crazy to think that they originally were going to just kill off every single one of these characters. And I don't even know how you would have a story. But at the same time, when you think about it, it's like, I can see now why they picked a lot of these obscure characters, like picking Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, or picking Taskmaster from Black Widow, or even Yelena from Black Widow, or Winter Soldier Bucky, who's probably the most well-known out of all these characters, and the Red Guardian and U.S. Agent. And when you hear that, it's like, that makes a lot of sense why they picked these lesser-known Marvel characters to be part of a team, because they were just gonna kill them off. they were just gonna end every single one of these characters. And I'm glad they didn't stick with that, because I think they did a good job at making you care about these characters, care about their backstories, care about their struggles and their pains, and build a genuine camaraderie between all of them. So I'm glad they didn't stick with killing off all the characters. I'm glad they didn't do that. I enjoyed each one of them, and I'm glad that they're still alive to keep going in these future movies like Doomsday and Secret Wars. So you guys share your opinions. Are you glad that they didn't kill off all these characters if you did see the movie? Or would you have been interested if they went for a drastic take, like killing off every single main character we were following? I don't know. You have to share your opinions in the chat and comments. Like I said, I think they made a good choice not killing them off. But hey, maybe they would have had an interesting angle going with that. Well, we'll never know. But we're going to go and move on to our next set of Marvel news, and that is, it was announced that Marvel's Wonder Man has been renewed for season 2. I'm trying to clap, but I got my microphone in my hand, so I can't do that. But congratulations to Wonder Man getting renewed for a second season. I did watch the show. It was good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the best of the Disney Plus Marvel TV shows out there. You wouldn't have thought much of it, considering that it's supposed to be of two characters in this universe who are trying to get into Hollywood and trying to find their acting roles, while one of them is secretly a metahuman trying to hide his identity and everything, because they're now living in a world where metahumans are frowned upon and he could get taken into custody. But it was a really good show. I fell in love with this character. I definitely would say that. Oh, geez, I'm gonna have to look up the actor because I know for the life of me I cannot say his name right. But he's been in a lot of stuff. You can even see here as I click on his profile picture. You've definitely seen him in a lot of movies. I'm going to try my best here. I apologize to the actor. I apologize to anybody that may feel offended of how I say his name, but this is the best I'm going to do here. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I mean, he's a great actor. I've loved a lot of his movies he's been in. He's been in the Aquaman movies as Black Manta. He was in Jordan Peele's Us. He was in Watchmen. He's been in a lot of The Greatest Showman, 2017. He's been in a lot of stuff. And so I'm glad he's getting more roles out there. I think I do remember him in Ambulance. I do remember him in Matrix Resurrections. So he's had a long list of movies, and Wonder Man was his most recent project that he was in. He played as the main character who has the meta-human powers, trying to become Wonder Man. I think that I don't want to use that image because I think that's an AI image, and we're anti-AI, which I actually have some exciting anti-AI news I want to talk about in a second. But still, I'm happy for him. I'm glad they're renewing for a second season. The first season ended off on a cliffhanger where he went into, this is spoilers for anybody, so if you need to mute me because you don't want to get spoiled for the show, at the end, his friend Trevor, he takes the blame for something that happens and gets arrested, and he goes to save him, break him out of prison, and they left on a big cliffhanger. So I definitely can't wait to see what they have in store for season 2 on how he's going to handle balancing his metahuman powers while also still being an actor and being famous. I'm excited to see his future in the MCU. And please share in the comments of the chat. Did you watch Wonder Man when it came out earlier? It was earlier this year, 2026. Earlier 2026. Did you enjoy the series? Are you excited to see what he's going to bring to the table in future MCU projects? Are you excited for season 2 of Wonder Man? But like I said, I know I am. I can't wait to see what they got in store. We'll have to see. But as I briefly mentioned, and you guys all know, I am very anti-AI. I don't like it. I think it's a lazy way of cutting corners. It has stolen jobs from voice actors. It has taken jobs from animators. I just don't like it. Now, I do have to specify. AI that is used for video games and hardware and technology is good, but generative AI is where we start to draw the line. That is where you start to see the cut in the corners. I don't care if they make babies talk and sound all adorable and say funny stuff. It is still generative AI. I don't like it. But I'm going to have to go to my bookmarks here on Twitter because there have been some exciting news involving, for us pro-artist, anti-AI people. It has been officially announced by OpenAI that they are shutting down their AI slot-making platform, Sora AI. We're winning, artists. We are winning. Yeah, they have officially shut it down, and this is huge. And earlier this week, it's funny because us animators and artists and stuff, we've been talking about for a couple weeks and months and years now that sooner or later, this generative AI bubble was going to pop. That sooner or later, they weren't going to be able to keep funding themselves to keep pumping out this slop. They weren't going to be able to keep doing what they were doing for long until sooner or later, everybody was going to catch on. People were going to start realizing that, hey, this isn't really as fun as it was funny when it first started, but now it's just copying people's voices and without their permission and it's so on and so forth. And the bubble's been popping. It has been slowly swelling to the point where it would finally pop. It started when Trump passed a law where anybody making any sort of generative AI, they cannot copyright it as their own content, as it isn't their own content. They have to take likenesses of people and the voices of people. Now, we ain't getting political, but still, that bill was passed, and that means anybody that was making AI content, they couldn't say, hey, this is my content, you can't steal it. Well, it ain't yours to copyright. So that was the first thing showing that AI was starting to lose this ongoing battle. The next thing, earlier last week, there was a thing on TikTok that was getting big called, I'm going to actually look this up here. It was called Fruit Love Island on TikTok. You even see the images. That is generative AI slop. And it was basically copying the show Love Island, I think, on Netflix. But instead, they put AI generated fruit over the cast and all that kind of stuff. Well, then earlier, it was announced that the official account behind it has been banned on TikTok. So we've been slowly but surely seeing the signs that generative AI is losing an ongoing battle of trying to stay relevant and stay funded and stuff. And this is the biggest pop of the bubble, that now Sora AI, one of the leading in where a lot of these generative AI videos be getting made, it's been shut down. And on top of that, it was also reported that, let me see if I can find it. It was also reported that they were shutting down even the video making feature on ChatGPT. I know a lot of people love using ChatGPT to answer questions and all that kind of stuff, but it also had a video making feature where it would use generative AI to make AI slop videos. And they even officially announced that was going to be removed from the platform. So we're seeing this AI bubble it's finally shutting. It's finally popping. It's reaching its end, and I'm glad. And as you can even see here, I was trying to pull up the official post of them talking about ChatGPT getting rid of the generate video option. But one of the biggest losses to generative AI is this. It was announced a couple months ago that Disney had signed a $1 billion deal with OpenAI where Sora would be able to utilize all of Disney's characters, Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Darth Vader, the Avatar, any character that Disney owned, Sora would be able to use it to generate AI slop. And the fact that we're going to pay OpenAI $1 billion is crazy, which first off goes back to the whole me criticizing the live action Moana and how bad the visual effects. This is a company that could just easily hand out $1 billion to not even real artists, to a generative AI company that all they have to do is type a prompt into their system and it makes a video. There's no love, there's no passion, there's no human emotion behind it. But they were willing to give $1 billion to this company to just poop out. Yeah, I'm saying it, poop out generative AI slop. And it's been even officially stated that Disney has officially exited out of their deal. They are pulling their $1 billion away from OpenAI after seeing Sora has flopped, meaning we're doing it, artists. For any artists or animators or even voice actors that may have tuned into my show or are watching this episode, we're winning. I just want you to know we're winning. They're starting to finally lose. Generative AI is starting to lose its grasp on the world and people paying attention to it, where now they're losing the funding, they're losing the popularity. People are starting to catch on that, wait a minute, this isn't as creative or as funny as we thought it was. And this is big. The fact that OpenAI has lost $1 billion, it's crazy. But even as it states, they pulled because they saw Sora was flopping, because probably enough people started talking about how they didn't like this. And now Disney is backing out of it. This is another thing here. Disney has this is from Discussing Film. They're a well-known movie film reporting platform that I follow on Twitter, they reported Disney has canceled their deal with OpenAI. They plan to invest $1 billion into the company and let Sora have access to AI generate videos of characters from Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars. They seem so excited about this deal, and now they're backing out of it. They see now there's no benefit in this, and they're seeing that they're wasting money. So, like I said, this is a big victory for anybody that is passionate about art, that's passionate about animation and voice acting. This is a big win. And like I said, I voiced my disdain for generative AI, and I am glad that the bubble is finally popping. So you'll have to share your opinions in the chat, in the comments. What do you think about OpenAI and Sora AI and even generative AI looking like it's starting to take a plummet where people may start to back away from using it more? I've shared my opinions. You are more than open to share yours. But speaking about the movie industry, we're going to talk about our last bit of news, and that is, it was reported by TMZ. I think everybody knows TMZ pretty well, that Reacher star Alan Ritchson was seen beating his neighbor over a dirt bike dispute. When I first saw this, I thought it was fake. I thought this was fake news. I thought this was generative AI, because generative AI was starting to reach a scary point where it could do that. It could replicate an actor's face, voice, etc., and make it look like, oh my goodness, look at this. This actor is doing this. This is crazy. Whoa. So I thought it was fake. I thought this was fraud news. But then I start seeing more people talk about it. And I'm going to disappear for a few seconds here to let y'all watch the video. But no, this is and I'm going to pull up, actually, before I do pull up the video, I'm going to pull up the actor, because some people might not know the name and might have to see his face, because he has played in a lot of stuff. Some people have probably watched the show Reacher. Alan Ritchson, he's played in a lot of things. He's been in DC shows. He was in the Hunger Games. He was in a lot of stuff. And so he's a very well-known actor. And when I started to hear that, I was like, oh, no, this can't be true. But no, this was true. And like I said, I'm going to disappear for a few seconds. I'm going to play the video. But once I play the video, there's thankfully a lot of context that has came out of it. And I'll share my opinions on the situation. And you have the floor definitely in the chat to share your opinions as well. But I'm going to disappear for a few seconds, and then we're going to go and watch this video here. While I get my camera up, as you saw the video, now this isn't the full video, because trust me, there's actually is a full video out there where we get to actually see from Alan Ritchson's perspective. But as you saw, you see the neighbors on the ground. Ritchson is laying punches into him, beating him up. And when I saw it, I was like, what? I was like, yeah. I'm starting to tune into the chat. I see this one comment from here saying they did decent on his lace front, and I guess that's about the Dwayne Johnson. I don't know what you're talking about, MCD Ministries, but that hair did not look good. They could have done better. Let's be honest. They could have done better on that wig on The Rock. Let's be real, okay? But But back to the Alan Richardson thing. It's crazy. And I mean, when you first see this, it's like, whoa, he's beating up on this guy. Like, wow. I mean, how could you possibly do this? Like, whoa, why are you beating up on this poor innocent man? Well, context is everything, people. And there is context to this. This was thankfully reported shortly after sources close to Richardson insisted to the outlet that the Smallville alum was not the one who instigated the fight. Taylor allegedly pushed Taylor is the neighbor, of course. Taylor allegedly pushed Richardson off of his motorbike multiple times before the video began. The insiders called Taylor's actions really aggressive. That's what was reported, was that apparently Richardson was not the instigator, that the neighbor was actually constantly shoving and pushing him and stuff and instigating a fight, which then resulted in the actor jumping him and essentially beating him up. I saw, if I can find it, I'll try to see if I can look it up. Let's see here. The neighbor, he actually had an interview too discussing the situation, and you could see like he now has like a scar on his forehead. He got beat up. There it is right here. Here's the picture right there. He got beat up. and you saw from the pictures, Richardson is not some little frail dude. He's yoked. He's yoked. So I don't know why you instigate on a fight with a guy like this. You're just asking to get beaten up. But before we do get, because there is a full 4-minute video, and we are going to watch that. I know that might take some time, but still, like I said, context is key. And we want to watch that video to see from the perspective of Alan Richardson of what resulted in this. But my personal opinion before we get into that video is, I understand it. The guy's an instigator, but you are a well-known actor. You're going to be caught on camera. I know it's tough. Trust me, I've had my moments of anger issues, but you got to be careful with this kind of stuff because people will try to use these type of videos against you to make you seem like some kind of villain, some kind of antagonist or a villain or a monster. And there's always two sides to every story. And thankfully, as we're about to see, Richardson had a camera on his motorcycle, so he got to watch, or this might have been from someone else's perspective, but still, there was a camera who caught all of how this went down, and we will be watching that here. But that's my opinion because perfect examples. The NFL had a recent issue with this where DK Metcalf, the receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, during the Pittsburgh and Detroit Lions game, he got into an altercation with a fan where I'm gonna quickly play the video actually, and I'm gonna mute it in the background so then I can be able to talk while it's playing here. But DK Metcalf, if I can get my there we go. As you can see here, DK Metcalf, this was last year during the NFL season when the Detroit Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing off against each other. You see, there's a fan who is down there. He grabs his hair, and then he takes a swing at him. And then you see the guy raise his hands in the air. He like, I got you on camera. You're in trouble now. And then it came out that this fan had actually apparently been following DK Metcalf even ever since he was with the Seahawks, constantly pestering him and stuff. So apparently this has been an ongoing thing, which first, that's not a good look on the NFL. You need to be taking care of this kind of stuff so then something like this doesn't happen. But it falls on DK Metcalf as well. You are a football star. You're an actor. You are this. You are that. You have to have control because you can't get caught on stuff like this because there can be consequences. And, for example, DK Metcalf, he got suspended for a couple games because of this altercation. Even though it was revealed that this guy has been bugging him for years, it's like, dude, still, you took a swing at him. You're the football star. You're going to be at fault. And with Richardson, what I fear is going to happen is that even though, sure, the guy was the instigator, depending on how good the lawyers are, he could still end up having to pay the guy money because Richardson, all it was is that he got shoved on his bike while the dude, he's got a cut. He's got a cut on his forehead. He could definitely find ways with the right lawyers to be like, hey, I got attacked. I'm the one with more of the injuries. I deserve some sort of compensation. And so it could definitely be a case of where maybe Richardson gets out of this scot-free, but he could also get money taken from this. And another example, it's funny that this happened because I had actually seen a video of another actor, John Cena, the wrestler. You guys all know him. I love John Cena. He's definitely up there as one of my favorite wrestler turned actors. And he had, not wife, that was not what I wanted. He actually had not an altercation, but he had a situation where he was at a store. He was at a store and he was just minding his business. And some guy walked up to him and was like, "Hey, man, I'm famous. I know you." And John Cena called him out and was like, "Hey, I've noticed you. You've been recording me this entire time I'm in the store, and that's not cool. And you're being very disrespectful, and I don't like that." But guess what? He didn't swing at him. He didn't point at him. He didn't try to get into no fights. He stayed calm. He stayed collected. He told him, "Hey, I don't like you recording me. That's not cool. I don't like you disrespecting my privacy, and I'd like you to leave me alone." And he leaves. So you just have to pick your battles when it comes to this, especially when you are a celebrity as big as Richardson. But like I said, there is a full body cam footage that we are going to watch here that shows and breaks down how this all went out, how it went down. And once we're done with it, I'll kind of close us out. You could definitely share your opinions in the chat or the comments, like while the video is going, and I'll read it off too. What do you think? Do you think that Richardson was in the right to to completely pummel the neighbor, or do you think that he, like I said, he should have had a little more control of his temper? But like I said, I'm going to take the camera off here. We're going to watch the video, and we'll see what the full story is. And while I get my camera back up, you saw it here. That was and we see it even catches up with the other video where the person was recording the incident happening outside, and we saw it. he was driving down this street. You got this neighbor who, let's just be real, he's a male version of a Karen. He's a male version of a Karen. This guy gets full-blown in front of Richardson as he's driving, basically almost causes him to basically fall, it seems like fall off of his bike because he's trying to avoid running into the dude. As you can see, he's driving and the guy's just standing in the middle of the road, literally purposely stands in front of him, and you see like he falls off his bike. He's like, and you can see like the dude, and you even hear it in the background conversation too, that he's apparently really mad at Richardson because he's like, oh, you've been driving down this street all this time. There's kids here. You're being super loud. You're being a nuisance. And it's just like, dude, you're getting in this guy's way. You're making him fall off his motorbike. You're fussing and pointing at him, constantly shoving him. What did you think was going to happen? Sooner or later, and you saw it too. It happened the first time. He has a conversation with him. He's talking to him. He's getting ready to get back on his bike and drive away. And then the dude comes up and starts shoving him again and makes him fall off the bike a second time. And that's when we start to see where the video catches up from the other perspective, where he's now beating up on the neighbor, pummeling him, all whatever you want to say, laying the smack down, doing the good old Friday Smokey. Debo, you got knocked out. It's all there. And like I said, while I do still feel like Richardson should have had control, at the same time, it's like he tried to have control. He tried to de-escalate. He tried to get away from the situation, yet the guy is still following him, pestering him, shoving, pushing, attacking, pointing. He's doing all this stuff. What else did you expect was going to happen? Sooner or later, the guy was going to jump you, man, and we saw it happen. He retaliated. He basically fought back, and now it's turning into this whole thing. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if there's any updates on it that happen over the week, trust me, in next week's episode on Tuesday, we'll definitely break it down to see if this ends up turning into a bigger thing where it turns into a court case, or if there's enough evidence because of this full body cam footage that can now kind of help Richardson out in his case. Like, hey, I tried to get away from the situation. The guy was essentially pestering and instigating this fight. So, like I said, share in the comments, share in the chat. What's your opinion on this? Do you think that he should have had better control, or do you think that he was in the right to lay the smackdown on this dude? Because that's insane. I mean, absolute just idiotic behavior. So that's really all we got to say for tonight. And like I said, I'm glad for everybody that has tuned in. I know this episode went on a little longer, but who would have thought that from Friday to now that so much stuff would be going on in these past few days? But hey, that's just our world. We just be having things happen back to back to back to back, and you can always trust your boy here to be reporting that stuff to you. Oh, wait, hell, before I do turn off, I see one comment. Maybe that'll teach the neighbor to mind his business. I mean, I 100% agree. You saw it. The neighbor had multiple chances to back away. If this was seriously that big of a problem, he could have went back into his house, called on the phone, got the police down there, whatever. But he didn't. He was the instigator. He was the antagonizer, and he... I'm not going to say the word. I try to keep this show a little PG, but he effed around and he found out. Let's just keep it real. That's what happened. But yeah, I think it is what it is. It happened. We'll have to see what occurs. But and like I said, whatever does happen, your boy Fleetway is going to be reporting it to you guys on this show every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Once again, I'm glad for everybody that tunes in to watch me. Thank you for your support, your love, interacting with me. I enjoy it, and I hope that we can keep this just let's keep this going, you know? So I'm excited, but once again, thank you for tuning in, and like always,